Hi knitters, welcome to PJ Knits. My name is Penny and I live in Central Illinois, and I'm a knitter, a blogger, a YouTube podcaster, and an Instagram. Welcome to my knitting journal. Welcome back if you are returning viewers, and if you're new, welcome to my little corner of the knitting world and other things to talk about. Today is Monday, April 7th. And the weather here in Central Illinois is beautiful. We're at mid-morning, it's 48 degrees and sunshiny, and it's greening up a little bit here and there, and so we're so pleased with that. The weather for the next couple of weeks are going to be like in the 50s, barely making 60s. So, early spring, but again, it's so very green, and we're grateful for that. And it won't be long, and we'll be out on the porch knitting, morning, noon, and night. So there'll be plenty of time for that coming down the road. So looking forward to that. Our heart goes out to those who are in Kentucky that are dealing with the flooding and all the rain and the storms that have happened since I got back from Florida. They've been inundated with it. And so we hope that you are all safe and well, and hopefully that the storms will stay away. So we're thinking about you for sure. So couple of things I want to talk about. Today's a little bit of everything. I want to talk about spring sweaters, and I know that everybody is talking about spring sweaters, summer sweaters, tees, and all of that. And my philosophy in knitting is to get ahead of the season, and so I'm going to be talking about summer sweaters because I have plenty of transitional sweaters. This is the V-back tee by Jamie Hoffman. I knit it quite a few years ago. The yarn is 3 Irish girls that I picked up at Stitches Midwest. They're Adorn Luxe. And I made it a 3/4 sleeves because that's what I like, so I can see my watch for transitional sweaters. And this is the V-back because it has a V, and it also has in the back, it has a crew neck. And I thought I was so much at the time that I would always be wearing it with the crew, but I found what I really like the V. And in a couple of days, in the show notes below, I will link to my project page and to the pattern, and for everything that I kind of talk about here will all be down below. So that's what I'm wearing today, and I really do still love it. And the thing that I remember about this one is that I have washed it a couple of times. So I really like everything about it. It was my first foray when I did it into short rows, German short rows. And so not my best work there, but I truly, this is a perfect sweater for today, transitional. So like I said, I have some of those in my wardrobe and plenty of those to wear. So please grab your cuppa and your knitting, and let's talk a couple of things as relates to knitting now. First off, some administration. I just want to mention that the last episode, I announced the winners of our 2 spring Sandy bags. Thank you, Sandy. They're so lovely and they're so bright and springy. But I've not heard, or at least if I have heard from the 2 winners, it got lost in email or something. So Colette and also Joni, you are the winners of the 2 bags. So if you could contact me via my email, which is pjknitspodcast@gmail.com, with your full name and address, I'd like to get those bags out to you in the next week or so, if possible. If not, we'll hang tight for maybe one or through the next episode. And if I don't hear from them, or Colette, I know she's on my Saturday night Zoom sometime. If I don't connect with them there, I will choose some new winners for the bags, because I want to make sure that people have those for spring. The other thing is, believe it or not, the first quarter of 2025 is over in the knitting, as it would be the knitting world. And so, which means I chose a winner for the mistletoes that is on the PJKnits group in Ravelry. And that's a thread that is listed under mistletoes. And people just post pictures of their socks as they finish them, so that you all can inspire me to get back on my sock knitting train as well. So I love seeing all of those. So we have chose a winner for the first quarter, and that was number 258, Pammy K. She knits socks for her very knit-worthy son. And so, Pam, if you let me know, you can let me know via Ravelry, which I am PJKnits1. That's how you can get a hold of me there. If you would let me know what sock pattern you would like, that you'd like to knit on next, then I will gift that to you as well. So congratulations, Pam. And I can't wait to see what you're going to be doing. So we'll do another winner in another quarter of 2025. And so post your pictures there anytime. Okay, some March journal results that I wanted to share with you from my journal for this year. For March, and I could easily do this another way, but I had 0 yarn in, nothing came in, and I had 99 grams that went out. So I'm pretty pleased about that. Now, I can tell you that for April, that is not going to be the case unless I get my self moving on my Vertices Unite, because that makes a lot of yardage that goes out. But I have several purchases that, one that's still coming and one that I've already bought for April. So I can't, there will be yardage in or grams in. So I'm looking forward to that, to showing you and sharing that with you. So let's talk about the Florida trip. We had a fabulous time with all of my grands and with my daughter-in-law from Iowa and my daughter-in-law and son here. And it was so much fun. We went to the beach, my feet got a little sunburned, my head got a little sunburned the first day because I used sunscreen, but I failed to do it at the top of my feet, which that's not the first time that's happened. So the rest of the week, week and a half, we, doped up with that for sure. Spent time at the beach, spent time at different restaurants. We had a pool at the house. They played in the pool and I could enjoy them. So we had just a great time of being together with the family and grandkids. And as you would recall from the last episode, and as I do, I take a lot of knitting projects, contingency knitting, because one never knows, what might happen, that you might need to maybe stick around for a while, or you have more knitting time. And so I did take 6 projects, and I only knit on 3 of them. And I'm going to share my progress while I was in Florida and since getting back. But the other 3 came back with me, and I've worked on one of those since then. But so I know in my brain as I came home, I thought another year with all the grandkids, I think one muscle burl hat is sufficient to knit while you're on a beach vacation. And I took my muscle burl to the beach, and it came home with a little bit of sand in it, which is just super fine. But so anyway, I'm just going to share my little progress with some of those knitting projects. The first one is what I call muscle burl number 7. This isn't part of an ensemble, and this is out of Emma's yarn in Riptide. And so when last we met, this is where I was at. And so this was my beach knitting and maybe sometimes grab knitting. But for the most part, this is what I have knit on it since I've been home. So not, really, I didn't do a whole lot on it while I was gone, maybe about this much. But it's part of an ensemble that I am knitting on for myself that I have talked about before. So that is the progress on Riptide from Emma's yarn, muscle burl number 7. Now the other project is a muscle burl number 6. This one stays in my front seat, as I'm driving. So contingency plan, right? This is one that grab and go. It's always in the car for the most part. And so that's where it housed. When I was on vacation, this one actually would go into the hotels with me. So that, for the most part, that's where it was at. And I've done a little bit of knitting on it since I've been home. Last time you all saw this, here's where I was at. And since I've been home, this is how much I've knit on it. So I've had a couple of things that I've been attending that I have been knitting on this. And I think this is going to be the one that I'm going to also take into the yarn shop on Tuesdays and Fridays, because I'm working on my Vertices Unite that I did take to Florida with me and did get some work on. But I'm finding that the section that I'm on right now, I keep flubbing up, which is the front and the back, not paying attention. And so I think I'm going to start taking this one in. But I'm loving this. This is from Apple Yarns. And this is some yarn that my friend Kendra, when she went to Stitches West years ago, that she picked up for me. So I am loving this yarn and loving knitting on it. So it may make its way into more shop knitting than it had been. And then the other project that I took was the Vertices Unite. And we are doing a CAL that we started with the Zoom group on January 1st. And the last couple of episodes, I've shown you my finished project on my number one. But then I wanted, and it's kind of muted colors, right? It's beiges and blues and denim-y ones. And I wanted to do another one because I was done. And I wanted to do another one using some yarns out of my PYS, and I wanted it to be brights. And some of these are gift yarns, but they're a couple of them are gift yarns, and very appropriate in my Oh Wow Amsterdam bag, because I thought it'd be perfect for it, the neon colors of it. And while I was there, I was going to say, when last you saw that, this is where I was at. And this became my evening knitting or early morning knitting when nobody was around. And so while I was in Florida, I actually got to this point and I finished up that particular round. And then I was able to, at the same point, I decided, with the help of some commenters, and I do appreciate your comments on every episode. Thank you. That helps a lot of things. It helps build the numbers that people see, I think. So I do appreciate that. But what I was thinking about doing, we kind of said no, that it needed to be maybe yellow. And I had this gift yarn, so I decided to add this because I wanted this one to be brights and beachies. So I started this while I was down there, I do believe, and when I got home, finished it up. And then I was able to, last week, add the next color that I wanted to use to it. So as you can see, it's all going to be very brights, and that is my whole intention in that. So that is one that I took, those are the three projects that I took to Florida with me that I actually knit on. The other three came back with absolutely no progress on them. So that's why I kind of, making notes. I did while I was there. I have this little notebook, and I did a journal of each day of where we were, what we did, just adventures type thing. And in the end, I did like a little bit of a summary in my journal and said, I think a muscle burl, just barely cast on, is sufficient for 10, 11 days in Florida, because it was fun to be able to take my knitting and my muscle burl with me to the beach and knit on it. And I didn't get a whole lot done on that because I love the water, and grandkids were, heading out into the water, and I wanted, to be down there with them and walking the beach too. So anyway, that's kind of the gist of the Florida trip. We had a wonderful, wonderful time for sure. So next I really want to talk about summer knitting for sure, because again, I like to be ahead of the season, and I have transitional sweaters to wear now as indicated, and I have shawls to wear over them to get me through the cooler weather we're having. But if I want to have summer sweaters, and I do knit into the summer on my summer sweaters for sure, but I like to have a kind of a plan. And if you remember last time I showed you my basket of yarns. My basket of yarns for spring slash into summer has changed a lot. I was on our Saturday night Zoom a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about PYS and things like that. And what I had is a really nice basket of stuff that I was in my PYS, which is known as Penny's Yarn Show. And I was, I think in my mind, my thought was, you have these in your stash and you must use them. And I tried really hard to use a couple of them in different projects, but they just weren't me. You know, I was making myself knit or create something that just, it wasn't my color. Like I had the light pink, and I wore a lot of pink back in the day, but I have gravitated to other colors now, right? And so I was making myself use stash that I wasn't happy with. But I love this group because they made me also do like critically look or critically think about it. And you know, we're very above board and said, you know, if you don't like it, why are you knitting it? And that really is the gist of it. And I have heard that before from others because, you know, we feel like we must use these yarns because we've bought them. But at one time they brought me joy, and the joy is over with. And to use them for something that I don't really want to, or is not making the gauge, I don't have to do that. And so with a combination of thinking about those things, testing them out, doing a gauge, starting a gauge swatch as it would be, I was like, no, I don't want to spend my time knitting on stuff that I'm not 100% like, oh, wow, I want to knit this and I want to finish it because I want to wear it because I love it. And so I have curated a lot of those, looked at them very critically, and I have put them into bags for Makers Meetup in July for the put and take table. Now, I will tell you, I have put them in the bags. I have taken them out of the bags. I have put them back in the bags. I have maybe swatched, and then finally put them back in the bags and said, no, for some reason you don't want to be knitting on these, and it's time to really cut bait. And so I'm happy to report that I have done that. But at the same time, my basket has changed a little bit. And so here it is, the new basket. And most of these I had, with the exception of one. And I'll talk about some of them this time and some of them next time as we go through. So anyway, that's my new basket of summer yarns. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you about today, about some of the garments that I have in my wardrobe that over the next couple of episodes that I'll pull out and talk about and show you. Because I think if you've not knit these sweaters, I think they're great ones for summer tees, for your summer yarns. Now, one of the things that I really want to tell you and talk to you about, and I couldn't find all of them last time, is Sandus Garn Lena. And that is what I am knitting my Clover Tee out of for our knit along for the Makers Meetup. And it's not my first time that I've used it, but here is the yarn, Lena by Sandus Garn. They call this a worsted weight, and I've talked about this before. They call it a worsted weight, but to me it's not I don't think it's like a full some of those worsted weights. So this is what I wanted to talk to you about first of all, and show you a couple of garments that I have. First off, this one is Anker. And this is in my wardrobe. I knit, this is was my first time ever using Lena. I had seen this on the Knitting Place, which I follow their podcast and get a lot of great ideas off of for sweaters from there, as you will be able to tell here shortly. But this was during COVID, and I ordered the yarn directly from the Knitting Place. This is what I remembered. So this was my first one, and I decided to do Anker Tee, and that's because the ladies from the Knitting Place they had knit them and they had the yarn in stock. And so it was my first time back in COVID days. That's when I learned a lot about different yarns. And I also thought, I'm going to try different yarns. And so here is my Anker. And I will tell you, I have wore this a bit in the time frame. Now, there we go. I love this sweater. What I have found, and what I do like about it is washable. I've washed it, but I think over the course of time, you can tell that I wore it for a while, but I still love it for sure. And I will link this as well to my project page down below. I love this. Very matte. I don't know if you can tell, this one's very matte finished, like, I think, in my estimation. So that was the first one, my first experience with Lena. And then because I had liked it, and then again, courtesy of the ladies from there, in 2021, they showed a Sandusgarn book. And the thing that I don't always care for with the Sandusgarn yarns is that if you wanted to knit something that was in one of their books, you had to buy their yarn. And so at the time, it is in one of their books. It is called Snowbell, and you can only get it in the book. And the only reason I'm going to show you this, because I know there are other lacy tops that you definitely could do. And you can buy the single pattern. There's a, oh my gosh, peacock sweater. There's probably several others, and again, you could do multiple other sweaters out of it, but this one is truly just out of a Sandusgarn book. This is like 2021-ish, but I wanted again to do something, and I saw it on the Knitting Place, and so here is the blue. I love this sweater too. Now this one's an interesting one because you can see, if I get it close, it kind of has even more white to it than, say, the other one. The other one was very matte, for sure, right? And this one has a little bit more blue to it. But I love this one. This keeps with the denim-y, aesthetic, and I'll have this on at some point in time. And I enjoy wearing this one as well. But has a little bit of a marled effect for sure. So this one is Snowbell, and that's out of one of the books that I purchased the yarn at the same time, but was a fun pattern to do. And like I said, the peacock sweater, you definitely, there are several different designs out there for spring, summer tees that you could do. So then what happened was, if you remember from my previous episodes, we are doing the Clover Tee as a knit along for the Makers Meetup, and we chose that T-shirt because it's very size inclusive. It is by Lynette, and it's Lena Holmes Samso, the Clover Tee. It starts out as finished from a bust circumference of 36 inches, and it goes all the way up to 58 inches. And I tried hard, that light pink yarn that I had, I tried hard to use it. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do this light pink. And it wasn't working out gauge-wise, and she designed it in Sandusgarn Lena. So I decided to go back to Wool & Co. and online order that yarn, which I did. That's what I'm using, Lena, here in the aqua. Here's the pattern. And I have to tell you, I am having a whole lot of fun with this. The yoke pattern is, the eyelets are very easy to do and watch TV at the same time. It is charted. I'm enjoying it so much that I hate to put it down sometimes, but I have so many other things that I want to be knitting on. And so I just wanted to share what I've done so far on it. I'm really loving it. And the thing that I'm finding on this yarn is that it has, I think to me, it has a little sheen to it. There you go. It has a little white thread in it, but I think it also has just a little bit of sheen. And so it'll be interesting to see how that all works up. And I'm really loving that, playing around with that. And of course, because Easter's not that far away, I've got my little peep. And yes, I am a peep person. I like peeps. I like them. It's a whole lot of sugar, but man, I do love them. So that's the tee, the sweater that we're doing as one of our knit-alongs for Makers Meetup. And we'll have pictures taken and all that, you know, that weekend when we do that. So I think it's super fun. It's going to be a super fun tee. I am looking forward for sure. I'm looking forward to having that done. I don't have any, let's say I don't really have any thoughts on other sweaters. I do. I have some patterns I want to share with you. I guess that's where I'm going with. And first of all, this is a free pattern. This is called Alberta Sunshine. It's a lightweight version of her Alberta Summer. I think this one would be fun. It uses fingering weight. It's 35.5 to 50 inches. I think this would be fun. This would be fun in that pink yarn that is in my bag. But I'm thinking about looking for something else, but I love this. It's by Sandra Buzza, and I think again this would be fun for summer. And as I said, it is a free pattern. I would of course lengthen those sleeves for sure, you know that, but isn't that a fun one? And definitely could has possibilities. So I wanted just to give you some ideas of ones that I'm kind of thinking about looking at for other yarns that I may have. And then this next one is called Derecho, and it is by Allison Green. It is a pay-for pattern done out of Remix Light. And if I didn't already have 2 Remix Lights, I would be for sure using it. And I love this one. And the reason I point this one out to you is the Noro category that I have a poncho going on. I've not done anything more on the poncho. And I'm kind of waiting to see how one of our friends decides if that's biasing. I'm kind of letting them be the test whether I rip that out, because I really would love to use that category for this. I would definitely, again, lengthen the sleeves. And this is Remix Light. But I also have some, and I showed these last time, I have this gift yarn. This is Vivo, and my friend gave me these for my birthday with a couple of patterns. The problem with the patterns is they're kind of like somewhat intarsia, where you go work across and then you pick up the other and work across, and they're done in pieces, and you know my aversion to all of that. So I'm kind of thinking about maybe swatching these and maybe not doing my category poncho, continuing on with that, but to do Derecho out of that. So I'm kind of thinking that I might want to just kind of test the waters out on those, because I certainly could, and I don't have enough of either one to do a whole pattern, but I could kind of do some at the top, do the yoke, and then throw another one in, you know, for the ribs. So I'm just kicking around that, and I think Derecho, my friend Susan Rainey has done a couple of these, and so I'm like on the fence as to which direction or what I want to do with that one. So that's one I wanted to share with you. And the other one is in my little stack here is always a standby for sure. It's the ranunculus. And I gave thoughts to doing a pink version in that one as well. But then again, what do you have to wear with the pink? And it's not me. And I'm trying to be better about, I think we always feel like we need to venture out into different colorways. And then we keep coming back that why? Why not have the aesthetic of having a capsule wardrobe? Much like if you watch Leslie from Leslie Friend, a friend to knit with, she has this amazing way of doing a capsule wardrobe. And so I'm taking some hints from her for future knitting for this fall, as to not always to have things that will go together should you be traveling or whatever. So, this one is still on my radar for possibly summertime if I needed, to use, to do something extra. But I have so many super ideas that are kind of going on. And then lastly is the Riptide. This is by Jennifer Shields Tolan. This was one that went to Florida with me. And I think this would be a wonderful under a lightweight sweater, again, as a tank. But I have plans for it as to use it as the vest, and I have a shirt. And since I've gotten home, that's how much I've finished on it. And this is done out of Haiku Riley. And I am loving this. So I want to finish this up as soon as possible so I can wear it with my blanket and get it wearing. But I think I could see this, over a t-shirt for summertime, a short sleeve t-shirt. So I recommend that. This has been fun, but I'm ready to be done and moving on, as it would be for that for sure. So those are kind of some things that I am thinking about for going into summer, and maybe give you some ideas. Lastly, I want to talk about mail call. And this is back to those wonderful ladies on the Knitting Place. They make me want to adventure out on different things. And so a week or so ago, Dinah finished her test knit, and then it was released of the Sylven by Natasha Hornby. And when I saw this, I thought, I want to do this. And so, again, a little bit different aesthetic than I'm used to, with a little bit of more making myself go a little bit further out on the knitting place. I'm trying to figure out how to show you this close by, but that's at the bottom. And years back, and I bought the Tegna pattern, and I have yarn for that, and I would like to do that as well. I have some yarn for that, but I thought when this one came out, I thought, well, this could be very interesting. I also on it looked at the yarn that the designer used, and it is a sport weight yarn. Let's see. She is 34.75 bust circumference up to a 64. This one I definitely would lengthen the sleeves and the body for me to make it go down just a little bit further, a couple of inches. The yarn that she chose for this was Pasquale Soul, which is a cotton and cashmere. And I looked it up, and, I didn't see anything, readily close to me, investigate it, because I really am in that mode of wanting to knit what the designer used. But on the knitting podcast, what Dinah had used was a Rowan Glace. And so I got on our friendly Wool & Co website, and I decided to order and try Rowan Glace, which I'd never used. And this is in a deep teal and has a little bit of sheen to it. I'm super stoked about it. It is $8.49. Very, very tealy. I've never used it before, and the thing is, the thing I love about Wool & Co., I'm in Central Illinois, and they're up in Elgin, and I ordered it, like, say, on a Thursday, and I had it by Saturday at the latest. And so I am super anxious to do this, but I'm not going to start on this one until I finish the Riptide, because I think this is the kind of thing at some point when you get down to the bottom of it, I kind of sort of have to pay attention to it. But I'm super stoked about the decisions that I have made as far as my knitting for summer. There are a couple that are going to pop in there, I'm sure, that I still haven't decided on, the Derecho and my gift yarn. And then I have a couple of others that are, whipsing on the needles. But I'm really happy with the decisions that I've made, and I'm really appreciative of our Zoom group, because they can be blatantly honest with us, with me and with others, about whether we should use it or not. So I'm just pleased as punch that I have kind of like pushed those others and put them in the bags, and they're gone. They're not gone, but they're not getting back into my line of sight as far as knitting is concerned. So that is all that I have for you today. Again, thank you so much for tuning in each time. I do appreciate that. And I would appreciate it very much if you would like this video, subscribe, comment below. And as others say to you all the time, that really bumps our numbers up. I'm pleased with as many we have, but it makes it so nice if others see the channel. And I hope that for you that I am inspiration as well for this. And the next time I'll be back right after Easter, I do believe, that week. I'm trying to do about every 2 weeks going forward. And as a podcaster, there is a little bit of a pressure to have some knits to show you. But the nice thing about it is that I have knits in my wardrobe that for summer that I like, and that I think that if maybe I've shown them a year ago, there are people who've not seen them before. So I do enjoy bringing them back, because if I don't like them, then I'm donating the sweater. And going forward, as I did in the winter, I'll do that in my transitional and also my summer sweaters, because I do have a couple of transitional ones that I'm like, that are maybe not long enough, as I've talked to about before. So all the things to come. I hope you're enjoying what you're knitting on. I hope everybody's weather is springing up all over the place. And until next time, have fun with your knitting, and we'll catch you later. And thank you. Bye.